combo, but it also means they can delay, stall out the usage of these spells and make it difficult for ONIC to try and do anything.
Do not forget, buy that skins, man. Like Estes and Fredrin, I believe, for All-Star Week. Very beautiful skins. About 600 diamonds, I believe, in game. So it's not really that expensive either.
You can get it cheaper later with the yellow diamonds too.
Oh, the promo diamonds. Of course, of course. So log in every day, but we're gonna see here Rashi counter decks and lineup rating. Doesn't really look like there's much advantage for any of the team.
I'm just concerned about ONIC having a carry because with so much crowd control, you gotta be so concerned for Albert's aggressive playstyle on such a short-range hero.
Let's go. Let's open up a week number 4 with ONIC versus DEWA United.
The last Kage versus his former team, the team he's been dying to meet in MPL ID.
And see how the match plays out. Off the bat though, you can see that that's a lethal ignition on the Nana, so Sans is attempting to play this a lot more aggressive than I would expect. But Keyboy of course does Keyboy things. Drian and Keyboy, the reunion in the jungle right here, not so eventful just yet.
Yeah, this is gonna be like just some poke down, then maybe some recalls from Keyboy because he's pretty low already. So far in terms of like jungling speed, I think Lanaya might be better in early game.
Wow. Loopy's doing a good job here in the lane, actually freezing it up and winning the trade against Dixon.
In those like medium duration trades, the Yuzong definitely has a bit of an edge. With the Rupture as well, Lutpi is attempting to just match Dixon, so not really phased by the reputation of his opposition right here. But Watt, of course, plays for that late game weapon mastery. And Albert, he's going for that aggression, so we have to see the lane matchup. It's going to be quite interesting.
Very interesting. The Crown Prince choosing to go for Master Assassin because I believe in terms of like 1v1, Natan does have some kind of range to play with against a carry. But look at that, he's already doing pretty good.
This is a standard for Drian, or actually, sorry, for Albert NCW. Even on weak side, actually, when they're weak side, they like to go for Master Assassin to even out those odds.
Exactly. When they think that there won't be a lot of intervention in their lanes, they go for that. Just have a more stable laning phase in trading in the late game damage because in the kit it's already built in. So Watt will have a bit of a disadvantage, but you can see that DEWA has a lot more control right here. They are dictating the ganks, the positioning. First turtle fight, I would say favors DEWA, but ONIC can. There are ways for ONIC to really make this happen for them.
Yep. The bottom lane, those Sans already very low.
Yeah, Eternal Guard and the Curse Blast too, taking Sans super low. He does get level 4 in time. Kyrie in the bush. Waiting to try to look for an opportunity to walk in through, but Dixon is zoning him quite well. Keyboy, of nature, penalty zone onto 2 in the back as well. Dixon flickering out, and that's a minute. Fury, oh, knocking Lutpi out, he's low. Lanaya secures the turtle for the team. Kyrie's taking low, first blood over for Drian. Sans also forced to flicker out as Keyboy is terrified and ran down in his own jungle.
The last Kage immediately making plays for his team. He knows his old mate's tricks down to the wire.
That's just the power of the Minotaur and why it's been so popular in those fights, especially with the neutral objective in play. It's almost that there's no counterplay unless you want to jump on the Minotaur first. And on top of that, they made the play to really zone away, take Sans very low. So without the mid laner, they can output this early game damage. ONIC, I don't think they can really fight or contest that turtle.
Already, look at that. The micros from this guy, already pretty good. A debut so far in the laning phase against Dixon.
You have to see if that can really, if you can leverage that, right? Having a Yuzong winning the lane definitely is a big danger, especially when your team relies on Watts on in Natan of all things. Look at Keyboy once again being a lot more annoying, but on the other side.
The bait by Lutpi, bringing Dixon there. DPZ from Dixon to get out. He'll be able to escape this one, but he's very low, and the wave's getting shoved out. A bit some strike up top onto Keyboy. Well charged defensively, knocks K's up. Oh, terrifying, the Curse Blast and Eternal Guard, but Keyboy gets out with the flicker.
The Apostles of Gods just making statements over statements. Didn't really get the kill though, but the message is definitely sent.
Fortunately, with the crowd control reduction boost, there's enough time left there. That's something that Vexana players, myself included, sometimes get quite confused, because usually that's like the right timing to use your spells. You want to wait for the full duration of the card control and then follow up with more spells. But when you have card control reduction from the boots, sometimes it just throws you off.
Oh wow, so far 1 total and also 1 kill already secured for DEWA United. But when you look at the gold leader, Rashi, it's really not much. So far, ONIC has been doing some of these micros in terms of like clearing the lanes or like blast hitting way better than DEWA United, presumably.
ONIC has always been good at just equalizing through farm instead of kills, but now let's see if DEWA can try and put them even further behind.
More control, the Black Dragon forms to the back. Lanaya gonna be targeted down. A bit of strike though. Kyrie still secures it. Eternal God of Naki Boy up as that is Lutfi,
Oh!
who goes in with the help of the Molina. Blitz into the back, finding Lanaya. Dixon as well. And now DEWA will be forced back.
The symphony of CCs, how they layer that is quite perfect from the Sky Kings. This is how they usually play, and they're looking to bounce back after their 2 losing streaks in the last week.
I think Lutfi just did a lot in that fight, man. He was doing a lot of damage, and I believe he landed an amazing Petrify onto 2 members of DEWA United that really just ruined their plans for how that fight was supposed to play out. Look at the items. He has a Hunter Strike, of course, all that damage, knowing he's not going to be targeted, but Sans trying to play aggressive, knowing that he has a passive. This, allows him to be this risky with his positioning.
Oh, look at that, Albert and Keyboy trying to do something here.
Keyboy is gonna be caught. How Spotty just walks out of there though. Lanaya popped in that Abyssal Strike. And Keyboy just took a stroll down.
Now it makes sense that Lanaya was, I believe he was going for a Silence Robe into a Dreadnought armor, so this is more of a tank Tyroth, but the damage is not going to be there, man. Like, I know that he has to secure the objective, but what do you do for these frontliners? How do you counter this with physical damage?
Yeah, what's the shred for even now? So he's building tank, right, Arashi? What's the shred for?
Seems like the idea isn't to go for the shred, but to use the Abyssal Strike and the execute that's built into the skill to try and secure the neutral objectives when the rest of the team can really zone everyone away. That seems to be what the idea is, at least. So when it comes to synergy, once again, not so much, but DEWA United, they're well known to play just around Watt and then, do other stuff that can give him some value. But that's some damage coming in from Sans.
Yeah, I don't think Watt is also going to build some kind of magic defense item, or at least maybe a Athena shield if he's very careful. But so far, ONIC has been playing the macro game quite well, getting 1 turret in the top lane. Still very solid on that department. Another turtle fight. Kyrie already roaming around the area.
2 levels ahead of Lanaya. Black Dragon formed by Lutfi into the back right now, but Lanaya still fights with the help of the Abyssal Strike. Minions Fury onto Kyrie, locking him down, and Lutfi still decides to go in. Gets melted and shredded down by Drian, of all people. And that's a win for DEWA.
For sure, a win. 2-0-1 for the last Kage. Really good KDA so far in the first 7 minutes of the game. And they cut off some of the gold leads on towards 400. Really good sign for DEWA United to get this W.
I mean, DEWA, that was all keys, man. The fact that he was able to use all his spells out towards Kyrie before Kyrie was ready for it. So the Daytona's Welcome wasn't used. Technically, it kind of forced him on a weird timing to use the Daytona's Welcome early or to take the burst initially, and then when they layer the card control over it, that's just almost a guaranteed play for DEWA because of all the utility available to them. So when it comes to a 5v5 in a small area, especially with the Natan doing AoE damage kind of compared to the carry, I feel like ONIC needs to be very, very careful how they approach these fights.
Especially Kyrie, right? Because I believe Kyrie kind of mistimed his Daytona's Welcome in the turtle exchange, so he can't really immune the CC away. So he has the biggest burden in terms of like Lord fight or turtle fight. Meanwhile, Keyboy getting chunked up quite low. No trades or like no meaningful trades just yet, but DEWA United, look at that, grouping up as a 5 already.
I mean, they know they have the advantage in a 5-man team fight. Looking at the items here, already a Dominance Ice built in for Dixon, trying to deal against Lutfi. Lutfi, though, he has a War Axe on top of the Hunter Strike. That's a lot more aggressive than we're used to seeing from the Yuzong in the EXP lane. We'll see if he pays the price, because he can't get out with the Black Dragon form. But if he's forced to use it too early in a fight, that means that DEWA will have even more control over a neutral objective area.
Great zoning by DEWA United onto ONIC, but
Top
look
lane.
up top, yeah, Lutfi. Very fast bird on that trade.
Not even a single Hunter Strike for Lanaya. Oh my god.
Ooh, that's only a Genius one on the Nana, by the way. So that's some Nana gameplay for you.
Especially if you get that magic defense shred from that Molina. It's going to be lethal, even from the frontliners of DEWA United. it is beefy, but against Nada, I think you got to be a bit more careful, especially with the CCs as well. It's going to be very difficult for DEWA United to evade all of that from Sans.
Look at the player gold by UBS Gold right here. Watt and Albert still on top, but Lutfi actually is the third member around. He's been pushing a lot more. We'll see if we can find Watt in these fights.
Watt's so far away from this fight, Lanaya. Brought back by the missile. Penalty zone onto the back with a minute furious, but the knockup comes through. And it's Hayes, of all people, who finds the Lord. Watt with the entropy now, trying to look for a fight, but DEWA decide to disengage. They've gone the Lord. Sans with a bit of poke back onto DEWA. 2 for 1. And the Lord for DEWA. They're looking to siege down in the mid lane. Transform Drian. Still looking to zone ONIC away, and they have done it.
Drian, once again, Arashi, once again with the plays. And so far, he has been one of the core members of DEWA United in terms of like securing the objectives, because that is his job, and he did it quite beautifully.
Well, you're seeing again why the Minotaur pick was so prioritized by DEWA right here. Even there, despite the fact that Keyboy was able to actually do a lot of crowd control work as well in the back lines, it doesn't really matter when you're up against a Minotaur with a Grok, right? The comparison just isn't there. So for DEWA now, with the momentum, we'll see. With Dinatan having a Divine Glaive even, able to penetrate through the majority of the magical defense, DEWA can really pressure ONIC down here, because ONIC's wave clear mainly is just Sans on the Nana.
Yeah, but they're gonna take care of this Lord quite quickly with that burst, with the speedy light from Albert, and you can see the gold swing right away. Already plus towards DEWA United. Now to ONIC, but it looks like they want to go for more in the top lane.
They don't want to just go for more, they will take it. Kyrie is getting shredded by Watt. Like he's nothing. The penetration built up by Watt already is able to shred a Barat with full stacks.
Oh man, so the Dyrod is pretty much, you know, just enabling some of the magic damage that they have. Doesn't really care about physical damage at all. Meanwhile,
Keep on going for these sieges, even with no minions. They have Watt and the entropy of Natan. No problem.
They're just brute forcing the turret takes right there. And for ONIC, now it's difficult. They have no real mobility to really move backwards, especially Kyrie on the Barats. That's why usually we see it paired with a Mathilda to try and supplement the survivability and the movement that the Barat really lacks. So now if DEWA just use one ultimate, maybe just the Eternal Guard, and then follow it up with some damage coming in from Watt, Kyrie is just forced to stay there and take some damage. And the best he can do is Daytona's welcome to go out, but he needs to save it in these big neutral objectives.
Already getting comboed, Drian, not much of HP lost, and I believe some of the solution that ONIC could think of is just using Keyboy as the vision giver, right? Now, when Keyboy is already very low, now it's Kyrie's job to do that. And what so far? Like, look at these items, Arashi. I think he has enough damage to melt down all the frontliners of ONIC.
Yeah, for sure, especially if he pops the entropy as well with a true damage shred. And on top of that, to make things worse for ONIC, Drian also has the flask with the Oasis completed. So even if they do find a way to jump onto Watt, onto Lanaya to try and burst them down, or Keys even, there'll be an extra huge shield that will deny them.
And a Holy Crystal now for Watt.
That's a lot of damage, man. I think the only person that can really take that damage, it might be Kyrie, and we've seen how long he lasts, right? That's the best frontline they have. Because even with the Radiant Armor, you have to remember now it doesn't stack as fast. It's a 0.6 cooldown per stack.
They've also fixed their macro. Look at the bottom lane. Slow pushing Detson as well. Onto Dixon of all people. Now in the back, Eternal Guard is own Albert away. Albert's not going to be able to dish out any damage, and Lutpi is actually able to dive onto Case. One punch and a flicker out to safety. That's a knock-up on the back. And a Minute's Fury on the Sans and Kai. Of Kyrie isolated all alone, terrified, and taken out by Watt.
Kyrie pulled the trigger very, very early in the team fight, and the Apostles of God punishes the Sky Kings. They want to say that the sky is our domain, man.
That's just brutal. ONIC, I think the idea was to go for a pick-off right before everyone's set up and ready, but too tanky, too much damage. Now the base is in danger.
Pulling the blitz, but Watt has all the space he needs, even killing them with a Colat in the back. 1-0 to DEWA United. Convincing statement from the Apostles of God.
One more step towards the last Kage's revenge. What a statement!